outside, I paint on a smile for the world to see. And I bury the hurt deep, deep down inside where no one will ever fucking know. Only me, only fucking me.
The people clap loud when you win a Grammy. They clap louder when you win an Oscar. But the people clap the loudest when you fall. The champ got knocked out tonight. There are some last words that I'd like to say to the group. Guys, I don't care how tough you think you are, nothing hits harder than life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward, okay? And don't be pointing fingers saying, I'm not where I need to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you.
Yeah.
Boy,
nukes are now legal.
we off the grid, this for my kid.
For when my kids have kids. Everything we did for the crib, everything we did, how we live. All this smoke got a scent, all that smoke Kevin sent. Everything I spoke, what I meant, never disguised my intent. Lines outside the event, brought my life out the trench. God, thank God, look what he did. We off the grid.
Okay, so first of all, probably the most important thing that cannot be ignored about this guy is that his name is Braden. We're not giving a guy named Braden Skater of the Year. You know, I'm just noticing this literally right now. His last name is Hoban. The other thing that pissed me off about this guy besides his name, born in the wrong generation type motherfucker. He's almost worse than Tiago is. Actually, I do think that it's worse because Tiago is like cosplaying a dude from the 90s, and that was like so long ago that you can like see within the cycle, you know, of fashion that like that might be in vogue, that might be a chic decision to be making right now. But it's like, dude, Braden Hoban is trying to dress like a guy that was like famous and on the map 9 or 10 years ago. Like, dude, why the fuck are you dressing like Leo Romero and Dakota Servald when you are a contest robot? Let's be honest, let's call him what he is. He's a contest robot. And yes, he drops so much footage. He's extremely good. But like, you know, the thing about Braden is a lot of the stuff that he does, I'm like, dude, I've already seen this shit, bro. I've seen you at Street League. You know, I've seen your kickflip nose grind. I've seen your kickflip crook. I've seen your back nose blunts. Another hot take about Braden, he ruined back nose blunts. He fucking ruined them. He especially ruined kickflip back nose blunts because it's too easy for him. I see like 7 Braden Hoban kickflip back nose blunts per year, and that's just like 5 too many. This guy's a wolf in sheep's clothing, vintage shirt with Rockstar logo iron on the sleeve. You know what? There was a fucking Thrasher thing. Five things. This is the most fried shit I've ever read, by the way. This guy on 5 songs that you have to play in the van. 2 of his picks, AC/DC and Bob Dylan.
Don't forget the rush to
Come on, get the fuck out of here and stop wasting my time.
Have you not heard of Net Spend? You look like Hermione Granger, you prat. You guys want to see his pro shoe? You guys want to see the groundbreaking, revolutionary new design from Braden Hoban, a guy that totally should not have been born 15 years ago. Let's take a look. Drum roll, please. Oh my God, look at that thing. I mean, that is a feat of technology and human invention. We haven't seen 9 trillion shoes.
I see certain people skating and they're just skating and they don't have any soul. They have somebody telling them you have to learn the hardest trick. Flip in, flip out, flip in, flip out. But you're not like learning like why you have to, like where's the origin of this shit. They're teaching you to become a robot. but you're not understanding, like, it's like music. It's a soul to it, it's a feeling to it. It's not about, like, who can play the best lick on a guitar. 5 kickflips into fucking 7 kickflips out. Oh my god, it's never been done. Sure, it's never been done, but it looks like my fucking asshole.
To be honest, he's just kind of boring. He doesn't have a lot of X factor. Him and Leo Romero are skating the same bump to rail. Braden does a trick that's like 4 times harder than what Leo does, and whatever Leo is doing looks so much cooler. And it's just like, you know, some people, you either got the sauce or you don't have the sauce. Luckily for Braden, he's so fucking good and prolific. He's skilled that, you know, he doesn't exactly need the sauce, but he's not really like an inspiring skater to me. A lot of his tricks are just like rails, 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 rails. Too much of the, you know, stuff that he puts out is just like very generic type A rail skating. Like I'm watching a fucking Jamie Thomas Zero Skateboards part. And he does have some more interesting, innovative rail tricks mixed in there. But, you know, I think a lot of it, you know, probably like, why are we milking this guy for 11 minutes? You know, why are we having an 11-minute Braden Hoban milk session when this shit could be over in 45 seconds? Oh my God. Back to whose idea was this to shoot this? Back the fuck up, Braden. By the way, that John Miner part, I guess the idea was they went around and shot a bunch of stuff in the dark. And what did they call this video? Into the Braden Hoban Into the Light. There's definitely a good joke in there somewhere. Maybe something like Into the Light because watching this made me die of boredom. What is it? Get the fuck out of the So leave a comment. Thrasher captioned it. They said, Braden destroys the silent streets in a visually stunning production. Sure, Thrasher. I find it stunning they all sat down as a unit and decided to go light up a grass gap at a tennis court. Front blunt he did on that handrail was crazy, though.
여기서 쐐기포가 필요한 레이커스 수비가 필요한 멤피스입니다. 그렇죠. 르브론 돌파. 와!
Here comes the desperation posting, guys. One-upping a trick he already did in SF with a fucking Thrasher t-shirt on. Okay, this shit is obviously Buck. That's not the question. Why does he have a wooden ramp? What is that ramp right there? There's always some bullshit Burl is doing. And then he's got 3 iPhone angles? I mean, that's too many, dude. 3 iPhone angles, and he doesn't, like, chop it up smoothly. Whoever edited this did a really bad job. I remember the first time I was watching it, I was like, why is this taking so long for me to see the entire clip? So I don't know. This reeks of fucking horny, SOTY horniness. By the way, that's brand new Thrasher gear. So you know the guy is hanging out at Thrasher headquarters and they're giving him little merchandise packages, you know, for him to film tricks on Instagram with. So there's a lot of insider trading and collusion going on. Clearly, he's taking a fucking page out of the Tyshawn playbook with the backside flip over the subway tracks. Because that's what you do. And you'll notice there's a theme here of Elijah Burl not having any fucking original ideas whatsoever. All this guy does is copy shit that other people are fucking doing. So, you know, it doesn't exactly take a fucking detective to see that Thrasher and Burl are in cahoots. These guys are a little too close for my comfort. The editor of Thrasher magazine and my top op, Michael Burnett. Burl Haggard is live, seek and destroy. A fucking thrill to get to ride shotgun on all these amazing adventures. Thanks to my friends, blah, blah, blah. Excellent interview, including more Felper prophecies from Beyond the Grave. Who would have loved this shit, carry on. I think that Burl did like at least 1, maybe 2 tricks that like Phelps had like a bounty on or something like that. Here's one of the rails that Burl 50-50'd And Phelps, I think, posted this on Instagram, called it a futuristic bow wow. I just wonder if he was envisioning that when somebody would do it in the future, they would be using a ramp.
Look at this fucking rail. $1,000. First person that grinds it all the way.
So, I mean, yeah, this guy, he's, he wants this shit badly. Insane Burnett glazing, last minute horny posting on main with the double 50-50 grind. Burl's kind of funny to watch because he basically only knows foundational grind tricks, 50-50, 5-0 crook, nose slide, board slide, lip slide, all the basics, right? And I think at some point he must have like sat down and watched a street league and been heavily impacted by the skating because his trick bag jumps from like Smith grind to crook nollie flip.
His third attempt.
And then the Kelvin Hoffler special.
Fakey.
I've been watching Elijah for a while, and I don't really ever feel like he's exactly found himself as a skater. The biggest controversy around the guy is that he started dressing like Dylan Reeder kind of like abruptly, and it's like, oh, was it Dill? Was it Dylan? He had an insane swag switch up that didn't really exactly seem like, it made a lot of sense. You got to ask yourself, why would you wear flooded trousers when you have what looks like a size 14 foot? All that's doing is like attracting attention. So it didn't seem to me anyway over the course of Burl's skating that he's like making decisions that are like based off of what makes sense for me to do. How do I develop my personal style? Instead, it seemed like he's making decisions based off of guys that he thinks are dope. And I understand, dude, I fucking get that. There's clips of me on the internet. Here's one of me doing a Smith grind frontside flip and a full fucking Dylan Reeder costume. Like, I was a teenager when that was happening. Elijah Burl I think he's 30 years old. So, and this isn't just like general observation that I make. There are concrete examples. There are multiple exhibits. Anyway, I'll continue substantiating my kid. And by the way, I did not want to do this. I thought like, okay, when this new batch of Elijah footage comes out, I'm ready to accept Elijah Burl into my life. Like I've spent enough time and energy discrediting and undermining, and finding a fucking problem with what the dude is doing. I'm ready to just like him now. I'm hoping that the new footage that he drops is gonna like not look like he's pretending to be a different fucking dude. He feels like the only realistic candidate that can save us from like the imminent Foy Dickies New Balance corporate takeover bloodbath. And they say the enemy of my enemy is my friend. But in this case, I'm like, is the enemy of my enemy more evil than the enemy that I was trying to defeat in the first place? I don't exactly know if I know who is more or less. I don't know who to pick. I don't know who to endorse. He has 3 parts. Rodeo technology. Yeah, the first trick he does in this part, man, is like the fucking tail slide flip to fakie in the tank top. Like, you're not him, lil bro.
Brutal mug.
This one is just like disrespectful. And then Burl went and lip slid it. You know what people think about you. It's something you're aware. Why would you go and do a worse trick on a spot that like front board is way fucking cooler than lips? Why would you do this? You are making it so fucking hard to root for you, man. Honestly. Then you go and you like do an impossible with a Dylan Reeder board. I don't.
Oh, hell no.
I don't know what you expect us to say. There's a clip of him smoking a cig in black and white. You are way too jacked to be behaving like this. You're on some like Neen Williams high protein diet. Stop the cap. Some B-roll of you doing a cold plunge would be more believable. You think Dylan Reeder was lifting weights? Not only is Burl's style ABD, his song is ABD as well. Oopsie fucking poopsie. He skates to the same song that Sasha Daly in War and Peace. This isn't even that old. This is 5 years ago this fucking part came out. Scott Johnson, he did that 180 fakey grind thing. Burl did the whole thing, but, you know, I'd be more willing to kind of look the other way on a trick like that than an ABD because Burl did the entire ledge, but it's like, you know, given his track record, looks like this guy really can't come up with an original idea. I will go to bat for Burl in this sense. Why the fuck is Elijah Burl, who has done incredible marketing for the Dickies brand, why is it that Tom Knox, like a fucking British guy, rides for an American workwear brand, and Burl, who is a patriot, how is he not on the fucking team? That doesn't make any sense to me. You know, he's going to go bankrupt buying Dickies at retail. Did he need a toe-in for that clip? There's a whole like brand new asphalt parking lot behind him, or, you know, did he need to get towed in, or did he just want the visual aesthetic of a motorcycle? You know, as sometimes as bad as Burl may like appear at times, like I'll totally take him over a dude like Braden because he's actually fun to watch and he's not a complete crosslock abusing pervert. He does crosslock occasionally, but most of the time he's doing more legit 50-50s. And even if he has kind of like a weird, unoriginal style, I think at the end of the day, like if we're being honest, everybody looks forward to Burl footage. You know, I think the worst crime in skateboarding is the same as the worst crime anywhere else, and that is being boring. And Burl is not boring. Yeah, so he did hard tricks, 50-50 grind up the shotgun rail. Yeah, he did a lot of 50-50s. The one he did in San Francisco on that rail next to like the Main Street highway thing was pretty fucking cool. He also did that nose blunt. That was my favorite trick that he did this year. I've never seen somebody manhandle that spot the way that he did. Funny to see Burl try and do something besides skater rail, like that random switch frontside big spin over the flat gap that they put in there. I was like, what the fuck is that? Not the first time he scraped a manual on a fucking picnic table either. He straight up just looked at the guy who won SOTY last year and copied his ending spot. And it's like, yep, I'm gonna use that for my ending spot also. Kind of obvious and dumb from a strategic standpoint. Song ABDs, swag theft, you know, ender lifting. And then they dropped the fucking propaganda video with him in Austin. And I'm just like, this is like a little dirty now. His first part that he dropped this year, what is it, the Spitfire part, kind of represents to me one of the more annoying things about Skater of the Year, which is like, oh, you know, if a dude drops a Spitfire part, you know, in the last couple months of the year, he's going to be releasing an actual part shortly. So it's kind of annoying in the sense that it's like, you know, you're just getting throwaway footage. Like I think this footage was just throwaway from his New Balance intervals part, and it's like, it's almost like a trailer or a teaser, you know, and it's like the idea or the concept of a good part in the pipeline is more exciting than the actual part that gets released. So it's like, you know, what even is a part anymore? And, you know, this internet age, all of these guys, all the main contenders did the same exact shit, which is like, you know, oh, did Burl like kickflip a gap in his good part? Oh, well, then he ollied that gap in his teaser or his shitty part. It's just like, it's all about the amount of footage that somebody puts out. So it's like, oh, did you get this guy? He had 3 parts this year. Oh, but did you get this guy? He had 4 parts. It's like, dude, we're talking about art here. We're talking about an artistic endeavor, and it should be treated a little bit more delicately, if you ask me. That's where I'm coming from. I don't need to see your shitty Spitfire part. Even the Jamie Foy's part was even called Charred Remains. I don't think you should put your throwaway out there and label it as a part. So the other thing about Tiago that I wanted to talk about this year, I'm aware that he is supposed to be the 90s god reincarnated. You know, he's doing that whole style. He's the 90s tech ledge skating final boss. But I watch pretty much every single fucking skate video that comes out, and there's two genres of music that are more popular than anything else, and it is emo music for Zoomers and old school hip hop for old heads. Tiago had 3 parts this year. He skated to old school hip hop music in all 3. Brian O'Dwyer, more like Brian O'Liar. I get that it's on theme, it's on brand for him, but I'm like, can somebody please take a fucking creative risk with this guy? I was watching the intervals video. I've made my feelings on that video clear, so I won't, go down that rabbit hole again. I was like, dude, I've already seen Tiago skate to old school hip hop 1 trillion times. So I muted the video and I put on Phoebe Bridgers, and you know what? It was a cinematic masterpiece, apart from all of the terrible filming and the frame rate. Wow, this is awesome. Oh my God, I have goosebumps. Oh my God, oh my God. Not saying that I'm some fucking creative genius, but the point is, something subversive or unexpected, I think, can go a long way. Good example of that is this year, Gabriel Summers skating to White Flag by Dido, which is like a 15-year-old pop song, and he's a zero skater, and it maybe is the best track selection of the entire year. It worked extremely well, and I think something like that creates for a much more memorable, like iconic part than just having 3 old school hip hop songs in a row, like pretty forgettable and generic. So this was an unexpected kind of twist that worked really well in the part's favor. I get it, it's scary. You have somebody like Tiago, you don't want to fuck it up, but maybe being too afraid of fucking it up is actually causing some people to fuck it up. Anyway, yeah, even his Spitfire merch line that came out as a knockoff of this group called Gang Stars, which is a hip-hop duo from the 90s. Nollie flip crook on that handrail. Huge pop, nice. And this guy, I wanted to share this joke. This guy, his name is Toast Santos. When intervals first came out and there's this shot of Tiago mogging, he said he looks like a Call of Duty character. In terms of the Tiago enders, they had his ender be the switchback nose blunt flip out on a picnic table. I kind of thought the switchback nose blunt no flip out on the Bay Blocks thing, is that what it's called, was cooler. I mean, it was higher. It's an actual spot. I just kind of thought the switchback nose blunt was a little more legitness. There was a little bit of potential buzz around Tiago winning it this year, but it's like, in the world that we live in, the game that we're playing now, it's all like very incestuous. The shoe companies, they get the best footage, and then the shoe companies go through Thrasher, and then the shoe companies kind of signal to, everybody like, oh, we put Jamie Foy as the last guy in the part. We kind of think that maybe he should be skated. So it's like clear who the money and the business interests, who they're kind of pushing. And, the thing about SOTY is that it's Thrasher's thing. It's Thrasher's Skater of the Year. So it's supposed to be Thrasher saying like, this person, we kind of deem them to be the most useful for us. Maybe they got us the most clicks or the most attention, giving us the most money. You have to work and collaborate with Thrasher, release things through Thrasher, do Thrasher interviews, do Thrasher YouTube videos, do Thrasher Instagram posts, get covers. The problem is, it's like people, I think, look towards Skater of the Year. I feel like we have the same fucking conversation every year. I think people look towards Skater of the Year as like an acknowledgement of like, to your best abilities, quantify who the best skater of the year was. And it's Thrasher clearly has a conflict of interest in doing that. It's like, if there was, you're looking at the Oscars or something, and the Oscars was owned by AMC, and AMC, the theater company, they're like, okay, well, what's a movie that did well here? Transformers 17 made us the most money this year, so, maybe we're going to give it Best Picture. It's kind of like that. That's the problem with the Thrasher Award. Conflict of interest, and we all know it's there, and it kind of sucks. And there's nothing anybody can do because we are all beholden to this single group of, 5 bald guys who make all of the decisions. Yeah, so Baker had a Death Wish Part 2. I think that came out this year. I remember there was some kind of like uploading fiasco in January. I'm pretty sure that came out January this year. His part in that was really nice. And then the New Balance intervals disaster. People are calling that 9/11 2.0, and I gotta say that I agree. Realistically, what Jamie Foy has been able to accomplish this year, he is from a quantifiable, objective point of view. He's the best. He's the pick.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Popular opinion is always going to be, I think the view that the gnarliest tricks, whoever goes the biggest, whoever does the most impressive stuff, that's the most valuable, Therefore, that's the best representation of skateboarding. Therefore, whoever skates like that should be the skater of the year. I think that's why most people thought that a couple years ago, Nyjah should have won. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. This year, Jamie Foy, he represents that school of thought very well.
Whoever goes the biggest is also the easiest to understand, I think. So there's not like a whole lot of abstract or multi-layered studying or thinking that has to go into like analyzing or appreciating a Jamie Foy part. You pretty much just sit there and go like, holy crap, that was huge.
I like the guy. He seems like a very kind, solid gentleman. He's an amazing skater. Somebody like Jamie Foy will never be my personal favorite skater because I draw no inspiration from it all. His contribution to skateboarding does nothing to impact my relationship to the hobby. He's a spectacle. I respect his skill. I enjoy watching him, when he's not in a fucking New Balance video. But I wasn't like, oh, more Jamie Foy footage? Yay. I've seen enough. I saw more Jamie Foy this year than I wanted to. And I don't think that's a good sign, for the way that he was releasing his footage, the way that the footage was, being directed and edited. I wasn't like looking for, I'm fucking overdosing on Jamie Foy footage. I especially felt this way when looking at, some other skaters on this list who I genuinely really loved watching and made me feel, sorry for being cringe, but actually made me feel like I liked skateboarding. Antonio, Durao, Joe Campos, Emil, watching them actually brought me some joy, brought me some, sparked a happiness within me that, Ratatouille style, flooding back, being like, I remember my first time nose stalling on a curb. So, my question for you guys is, what is skateboarding about for you? What do you personally value? I value style. I value inspiration. I value cultural impact. I value contributions that are not only about the skating, but things that affect, everything surrounding skateboarding as well. I care about the entire thing. That's my perspective on the situation. I can accept Jamie Foy as skater of the year. If he wins, I'm not going to go, that's wrong. That would be fucking stupid because he does deserve it. He did incredible tricks this year. I just don't really like what he represented, and that is he was representing New Balance and Dickies, executed the way that they were. I think if he does win Skater of the Year, it's probably the most corporate Skater of the Year rollout ever. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's how it felt this year. I was just like, ugh. I would like to see them give it to somebody that isn't wearing a Red Bull hat in choppy 4K footage. Call me fucking crazy. If I worked for Thrasher, I wouldn't vote Foy. I think it validates a lot of the egregious creative decisions that Foy was a victim of this year. That's how I view Jamie Foy. I view Jamie Foy as a victim of his sponsors, unfortunately.
I mean, this shows you a lot right here. Who are the children clipping out from the full length and re-uploading their parts individually so that they can wake up every morning with Cinnamon Toast Crunch and watch this bullshit on repeat for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks until they have every single moment fucking memorized? Joe Campos. Nobody is doing that with Jamie Foy footage.
Leave me alone, I'm having a crisis. Yeah, this guy's having a fashion crisis. So I'm a well-documented Deeds hater. I gave him my best this year. I really tried to hate Deeds. And Deeds gives you a lot to work with. This guy's fits are fucking insane.
Warning. Life sentence in the dungeon for all found in possession of butterfly t-shirts.
Damn, son, where'd you find
those trousers?
Now, I've noticed there's been a shift in Deeds this year. There's like a real darkness about him. There's something in his eyes. You can see that he's troubled. And that's what I like to see that in my skateboarders.
I think the biggest indication that something has shifted is how huge Deeds has gone this year. Like, I do not remember him doing stunts of this magnitude in his career up until this point. Like, it seems like he just doesn't really give a fuck anymore, and he's trying to go as big as he possibly can. It looks like he doesn't care what happens to his body. I mean, before this, like, dude, Deeds was not doing 50-50 grind ollie 50. I mean, this stuff is like legit ultra pro, like elite skateboarding.
Deeds pretty much took the ride-on grind further than I think any man thought possible. Like, he is doing ride-on nose blunts through curved hubbas. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with this dude. He is just he's been exceptionally motivated. 4 parts this year. And, you know, unlike a lot of other skaters who drop tons of parts, like I kind of thought every part that Deeds put out this year was pretty fucking good. I think if you gave a teenager superpowers, the ability to skate like a top 0.1% skater, I think they would be trying to do like exactly what Deeds is doing, which Deeds, essentially his goal this year was to find the gnarliest possible spot that does not require an ollie. Gnarliness of the tricks that he's doing outweighs the fact that he's wearing some kind of, you know, Shen Yun circus prisoner on stilts person pants. You know what I'm saying? Another thing I like about Deeds is that he looks worried when he approaches a spot. This guy's putting his fucking life on the line for my entertainment. I looked him up and I was like, oh, Deeds is apparently he's Norwegian, but there's something like very French about him. I think most of us probably saw that slam that he took on that backside 50-50. I think Deeds skated some of the coolest spots this year, like these curve ledges. And hubba combos. The best year of this guy's skateboarding career by far. It looks like the final trick that he did in his final part was a skate park ender with an oiled up ass on the back of his hoodie.
Wait. Go back one.
What do you say?
Holy shit.
Yeah, unfortunately, Deeds, he's not going to win SOTY this year because he's still wearing jorts. I'm just kidding. Jorts did die, though, when Local Joe's YouTube channel went under.
So out of all the finalists, the Thrasher finalists, I'm picking Deeds to, you know, as my favorite out of the 5. I think they're probably going to give it to Jamie Foy. I don't think Deeds is necessarily the best skater out of this group. Obviously, I think, you know, pretty much everybody is better than him. The reason I'm kind of gravitating towards Deeds is I really respect his improvement this year
You know, I am a converted hater of his. There are things about him that I still think are pretty funny. I just have respect for what he did this year. And with the theme of Thrasher and Skater of the Year, it feels like it's getting more and more insider, corporate interference, behind the curtain, you know, knowing who's who of whatever. And I just feel like bucking that trend and going with the guy that feels like, you know, he is the least involved. He's in Europe minding his own business. He's not like popping in and out of the Thrasher office like I know Burl is. My actual pick, my real SOTY pick is Emil. You know, with what we've got right now, rushing this thing out of these 5, I'm giving my official endorsement to Diedrich.